This CPD session is about the group profile. Now, the group profile, also known as learner strategy or pen portrait, is a working document to collate key information about your learners. When planning intent for your lesson and individual learning needs, this information helps you consider how teaching, assessments, and learning strategies may be developed to ensure it supports each learner. It also helps plan for learners' progress towards independence and track and monitor progress too. If your lesson is covered by another tutor, it provides vital information for them to ensure they meet learners' needs. As a working document, information is completed if you interview the learner at enrolment, during induction, during one-to-ones, or generally during the course. If the learner is on more than one course, you may share this information with the other tutors. You may also discuss strategies to support a learner with the support worker team to help you manage and work with the learner more effectively. So this learner strategy or group profile that's in front of you has been produced by Anne Gravels, who is quite a well-known tutor trainer. Now, this group profile is quite comprehensive. Now, depending on what subject you teach, you might not need all of the columns that you can see on the group profile. So, for example, you've got the name, you've got the age, you've got gender or ethnicity. You may or may not think that's relevant for your course. You've got learning preferences, so whether they're visual or a kinesthetic learner. This column here, prior skills, knowledge, experience, relevant qualifications, and how they relate to learning and progression, that's quite a lot of information to fit into this column. So you might just have some key bullet points of their prior skills or knowledge. So for example, if somebody is doing a counselling course and they've previously worked as a teacher, you may want to jot this down in this column here. This column here is about initial and diagnostic assessment results and how they impact on the learning and progression. Now again, depending on how thorough your initial or diagnostic assessment is, you might want to include this or remove it. So for example, if you are delivering on English, Maths or ESOL programs, the initial and diagnostic results are quite brief, so they might be level 1 for reading or level 2 for writing, etc. So that can be put quite simply there. However, if you have a much more thorough diagnostic, such as those learners on language courses, you might just want to put CILP because that's where their initial and diagnostic assessment is held. This next column here is about learning and the learner needs and how they may be supported. So for example, the learner may not be dyslexic, but they may struggle with reading large texts or understanding large texts. So again, just a couple of bullet points on how the learner is going to be supported. So for example, are they going to use a ruler to help them read each line? Do you need to provide resources on yellow or blue paper, for example? So again, it's quite simple in terms of what strategies to put there. The next column, barriers, challenge, health, or personal issues and how they'll be supported. So this might include something like learner A needs to leave 10 minutes before the session's going to collect his or her child from school. Or this person had a negative experience at college and therefore can be quite negative. So what support strategies are you going to use, such as lots of positive reinforcement, etc. The next one, attendance, behaviour and motivation concerns and how they'll be addressed. So again, sometimes depending on what course you're delivering on, you may not find this column relevant. But again, it's quite a nice column to have if you do find any learners have got attendance, behaviour or motivational concerns. And then the next column is additional individual targets to stretch and challenge learning and progression. So again, it's quite difficult to fit whole SMART targets in there. So you could just put CILP for the targets. So in terms of this document, it is a working document. So it's not meant to be a perfect document. You know, it can have scribbles on it. It can actually have, say, initial strategies that you're going to use and perhaps because you've used those strategies, maybe halfway through the year, you've eased off on those strategies, again, you can just handwrite it on here to show that progress towards independence. So it is about it being a working document. It is about having your notes, having your scribbles on it to show how you're supporting that learner and how they're developing as you go on. And then this document is then used to help inform you of how you're going to support that learner in the lesson. And it's a good way of capturing that intent as well on how you're going to support that learner with strategies to help build on those existing knowledge and skills, and what strategies you're also going to use to ensure that you're embedding key concepts into learners' memory so that if they can talk about them fluently. So it is really a key focus on strategies to support the learner, rather than loads and loads of information of what the learner has got or what the learner's background is. It's more about the strategies and maybe just a little brief overview. And of course, this document should be kept confidential. You would need to password protect it if you're storing it electronically, or if you're storing it in your tutor's file, you might want to make sure that it's covered up so it is actually hard to find the information. So that provides a summary of what a group profile or learner strategy is. So hopefully that should give you a better insight as to how you can use this document to really plan your intent for your lessons more effectively.